Welcome back to Front of Stage with I Prevail. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're happy to be here.
So, how do you like Vienna, and is it your first time here?
This is actually our second time playing a venue, but we've been here 4 times now. We played Nova Rock twice, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we played this venue 4 years ago, and I think that was like our biggest headliner to date. So we're really excited to be back here.
Yeah, this is one stop that I feel like I'm always excited to see whenever we start to book the European shows.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things that I love here. The architecture,
The McDonald's.
the McDonald's.
Why the McDonald's?
I'm not sure why, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is the #1 McDonald's in the world for me. Around.
Really?
I don't know why.
Oh,
Yeah, we've been around the world a little bit, and he's done the whole, what you call it?
It's a McTour.
The McTour.
a McTour. So, what is your least favorite one?
American McDonald's.
Really? I would
Yeah.
I
always.
think wasn't the Helsinki one pretty bad?
I mean, there's a lot of really bad ones. This one just is 5-star. You guys know how to do it over here.
Okay, good to know, because I always had the feeling the French ones are the worst ones.
That checks out. Yeah.
So, for the people who maybe don't know you, how did you meet each other? How did it came that you How did it happen that you play music together? Sorry.
That's okay. We, let's see, back about 10, 11 years ago, Brian, Steve, and I all met through mutual friends, through the internet. I was playing baseball at college, and one of the guys I played with was dating some guy's sister that knew someone. So we all met up, and we wrote the first EP together. And as soon as we were done with that, we started looking for a band to play with us. And our old producer, the producer at the time, worked with Dylan's old band and was like, "Hey, I got a guy to try out." And then shortly after that, we met Gabe on the road, and we had an old drummer. He's long gone, and then we got Gabe about 7 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah,
something like that.
almost 8 years ago now. 2017 was his first tour with us. Yeah.
Holy crap, we're getting old.
Yeah.
And how did it came to your band name?
I think we were looking for something that back 2013. We're all from Detroit, Michigan, and well, he's from the west side of the state, but basically we're all from Detroit, and a lot of our music at the time had just very positive energy. Had a lot of like feel good. Even like the heavy stuff was like centered at a positive point, and we wanted to have this like positive energy. You just read the name. Being from Detroit around that time was seen as like down in the dumps, not doing well, and there's this like new breath of fresh air into Detroit, and around that time, so we love just the idea of being a part of that new wave of growth out of Detroit. So that name just kind of, I don't know, someone pitched that name, and we kind of workshopped it a little bit between us, and yeah, here we are 10 years later.
Yeah, nice. And how would you describe your music style to someone who doesn't know you as a band?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to describe because I feel like we dip into so many different genres, but
Yes.
just modern metal is kind of what we've started to kind of say. What's really funny to me is that a lot of my friends from back home who don't normally listen to heavier music, they'll text me or message me when we put a song out, and they'll be like, "Dude, I heard this one on the radio, and I really like this one, and then I went through and listened to all your old songs, and it led me to this other band." So it's like almost like a gateway drug for us to, we really appreciate that it's very accessible for people who don't necessarily love heavy music, but then they get into it.
Yeah.
So we've just been calling it modern metal.
And which music do you personally hear? Your favorite ones? Also metal or like?
Oh man, all over the place.
Yeah.
I listen from country to black metal to pop. I know you're
Yeah,
doing
it's
the same.
punk, country, metal. It's really eclectic, especially between us two.
Yeah.
Would you say there's some artists who are inspiring to do music when you were younger?
Oh man, for me, Metallica was one of the first ones. Slipknot was a big one when I got a little older and found more heavier stuff. I'd say probably those two were the big ones for me.
Yeah, I mean, bands like Linkin Park, Disturbed, Breaking Benjamin were bands that I feel like all kind of grew up listening to, and when we finally started to like play together, we kind of all bonded over some of those songs and albums. And what's really fun now is that some of the way that I used to feel about their songs growing up, I sometimes get the same feeling when I'm performing those songs of ours. So it's really cool to see how we have a melting pot of different idols and pathways to this that all kind of melt into this thing that is I Prevail now.
Yeah, and which one is your favorite song from yourself?
Oh man, that's so
and
hard
why?
to pick.
Personal.
That's so hard to pick. I would say, for me, Hurricane. I've been saying that. How people have therapy dogs. Hurricane is like my therapy song because it's two sides of a coin where there's this like heavy part where you can really, really get into it if you're having a bad day and performing it if I'm having a bad day. But then there's these really sweet emotional parts where, if I'm feeling like homesick and I'm feeling a certain way, I can kind of like tap into that side of it. So it's a very therapeutic song for us.
Oh, that's a really nice story behind it. And it's for you also there?
Yeah, mine's not as like emotional as that. Mine's more, no. I think of the last record, the most fun song for me to play might be Self-Destruction. But overall, I think every time we play Bow Down, it's like, it just feels like the first time we played it. And just going out there, and no matter where we put in the set, whether it's like the first song we come out to or it's like the encore or the last song, it feels like it's just got this whole new energy, like we're starting the set over. It's like the highlight for me.
Okay, good to know. So maybe the people who listen to the podcast can listen now to these songs as well. Yeah. But you mentioned before Nova Rock, and do you prefer to play on festivals or venues like the Gasometer where you're playing today?
I think overseas it's fun to play both, right? There's positives to both. Like you get to see how many people come up for a headliner and be like, wow, they're all here for us. This is awesome. But I really enjoy playing festivals overseas because there's some bands that I'll get to watch or play with or meet that I've never got the chance to see before, or they don't make it to the States very often. So the chance to get to see all these new bands and play with these bands I've never seen or played with, and then on top of that have fans that come for the festival. The festival culture in Europe is so much different, so much cooler than it is in the States.
Think so?
Oh, absolutely. At least for metal and rock. Like we have some big festivals over in the States, and there's the diehards that go to it, and it's awesome. I'm not knocking it, but over here it's just another level. It's just another level. So when we play these festivals and you have these fans that come every year they're coming back. It's like there's so many new opportunities to play for people that maybe have never heard us before, and we can soon be the band closing off one of the stages, and just have that massive moment and those massive memories of these awesome European festivals, especially Nova Rock. Nova Rock was awesome.
Yeah, I love Nova Rock. It's
Yeah,
great.
we do too.
Yeah. And for you, it's also the same, like...
I mean, yeah, he summed it up. I think European fans, just when they go to festivals, it's really about the music for them. And again, not to knock American festivals, but I feel like there's this air of like, yeah, the show's going on, but like, am I also having a good experience with the people around me? Am I getting the right amount of drunk? Did I meet a cute person, or did I not? You know what I mean? Yeah.
And for you, like to place is a different kind of feeling from the stage, or like.
I'm sorry?
Is it for you a different feeling when you're on the stage at a festival or in a venue like here?
Yeah.
What I like about festivals is that obviously there's more people there usually, but what I really like is there are some bands that we look up to that we know sometimes will be like hanging on the side stage. Like who was I'm gonna forget his name, but the guy from Slayer, the guitarist.
Gary Holt.
Gary Holt was actually side stage for one of our shows where we were actually playing a Slayer song and we didn't know. And so we played it, and I'm thankful because I would have been so nervous and I would have butchered the guitar part. But afterwards somebody was like, yeah, Gary Holt from Slayer watched you do that. And I was like, whoa, okay. Did he like it? And they're like, yeah, he seemed to be nodding. I was like, all right, cool.
He didn't walk away.
Yeah, he didn't walk away. So
That's a nice experience. And how is your tour by now? Like how many stages, like how many places did you already visit, and how many are yet to come?
I think we've done 6 shows so far. Something like that. We're still getting over that jet lag a little bit. We thought we'd be over it by now, but it's been about a week and a half.
Okay.
A couple days. Yeah, so it's been about 6 or 7 shows. I think we're about almost to the halfway point. This was kind of a shorter tour for us, but yeah, we're almost on the halfway point. Love it. Looking forward to the next couple shows. Looking forward to tonight.
Do you have favorite places where you love to play? You said Vienna, of course. Vienna is the best,
yes,
but
yes.
there will be other cities who are also quite good.
I think outside of Vienna, Germany is awesome. It's awesome. They just have a different love for metal than we do in the States. It's awesome. Personally, we've been to Ireland once and played Dublin once, and I had the best time. So I can't wait to go back to that.
Amsterdam for the amenities, and yeah, honestly, I really enjoy going to the UK and playing the shows there as well. I just think the fans go wild there.
Yeah.
So.
And what are the biggest challenges you face while touring?
The first thing that came to my mind is that I can't FaceTime my dogs. Is that weird?
Oh my God, I can understand that totally. I also have a dog. That's like, I always say to my mom when she's looking after him, she has to put him on FaceTime because I have to say hello.
Exactly.
But he doesn't get it.
My wife will FaceTime me. My dogs can hear my voice and they'll jump up and they'll and it's like, yeah, honey, hey, I miss you too, sweetheart. But like the rest of the the dogs don't understand what I'm saying. So that's one of the challenges, obviously, on this tour. I'll let you talk about whatever I don't know what challenges you're facing, but that's my challenge.
Missing my dogs too. No, honestly, it's just been the traveling gets a little hard to get used to, like getting back into the bus and if we get a hotel for the night back and forth. But that's just the cost of doing the job. The job's so fucking awesome that like even those little things, it's like, all right, that's a pain in the butt, but we're still gonna go play for, I don't know, 4,000, 5,000 people tonight, something. I don't know. It's gonna be crazy. So like all the little things, it's like, who cares? We have the greatest job in the world. This is awesome.
Do you sometimes get homesick? But because you mentioned it before that you play the song.
Yeah,
Hurricane.
I do get homesick sometimes on the road, but the bond that I've developed with these guys, specifically Eric's one of my best friends. I feel like it's one of those things where like if I'm having an off day, I'm not trying to be sappy, but if I am having an off day and I'm missing home, like we'll go find a McDonald's or something American.
Home's right here, bro.
Yeah. And we'll just try to like keep each other in good spirits because the reality of it is when you are doing these tours, life is passing you by at home. Birthdays, weddings, funerals, all that stuff does happen.
Is this hard for you sometimes?
It is, but I think when we go out on stage, like he said, there's this resurgence and you feel why it's worth it. We play songs and we see people that are crying while they're singing these lyrics, but they're not sad crying, they're like happy crying. Yeah. And I'm just talking about it, I'm getting goosebumps. It's like that just kind of melts away the homesickness right then and there. But it comes in waves, so that's just part of the job.
And in modern times, it's sometimes easy with connecting, like you mentioned FaceTime before, so you can see your loved ones. So this is nicer than maybe in other times. Do you have any funny or crazy tour story to tell?
Which one?
Oh, you can tell them all.
I'm trying to think of.
Code words. What do we got?
I don't know, dude.
It sounds amazing when there are code words already for that.
I got one. This one's pretty old though. So we used to play this game called the freeze game.
Oh, what's that?
And so the freeze game would be like, let's say if Eric was walking in front of me, and I would get his attention by saying like, "Hey, Eric," and then if he turns around and I do this hand gesture to look like I'm like freezing out of my hands.
Yeah.
He can't move until I come touch him, right? So that's the rule of the game. One time, I was in a grocery store with Steve, our other guitarist, and I was up at the deli counter trying to get a sandwich, and from like 50 yards away in the store, he just yells, "Hey, Dylan!" I was like, "What?" And I turn around, he just froze me right then and there. And then in that exact moment, the guy goes, "All right, here's your sandwich." So he like puts it up to the counter, and I'm like from me to the door away. So I just had to stand there, and he's like, "Are you gonna get it?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I'm playing a game right now." He just like looked at me like I was crazy. So it's just like those weird things that you do with your friends that normal people, well, I shouldn't say, like everyday people in public are like, "What are these weird guys doing? Like, why are you being so weird?" But that's one of the things that keeps you from being homesick is just being
Yeah,
goofy.
and
Yeah, so
also
we got,
entertaining.
Just a while ago, we were playing, I won't out the guy, but we were playing with a band that we grew up listening to, and me and Dylan sitting here, we're in a hockey arena back home playing the show, and it's just like massive show. We're in this arena, this is awesome. The band just played, and we're like, man, we're big fans. Should we go like knock on their door and just say like, hey, you know, like nice to meet you, have a good one, safe travels, all that stuff. And as we're figuring out, he comes strolling into our green room and lights a joint, and we just start smoking weed in a hockey arena. I was like, hell yeah, this is sick.
And then he made fun of my hair.
And then he made fun of your hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, so someone we looked up to for a long time came and smoked weed with us and then made fun of Dylan all night. It was awesome.
It was a good one.
Yeah.
I can hear that you're best friends. Nobody would allow that. So is there also some pre-show or post-show rituals you have, traditions, whatever? Oh, you're laughing. I want to know.
Ever since the first show, we just got some dumb handshake that we all do together, and then we each have our own personal little handshakes. And then,
do you want to show the handshake? Maybe
no, it's kind of secret,
Yeah,
you know? Yeah.
Oh.
It is secret, but it's funny because the beginning of it, it looks like we're praying, but we're not. And so that's like, if you happen to catch it, just know that we're not praying. It's our own little ritual we're doing.
We're praying to the gods of metal.
Yeah.
And then I'll rip a shot of whiskey, and then we'll play the show. We get done with the show. We come sit down, and we don't talk to each other for at least 10 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. We sit down, we chill out, and we, you know, nothing really. Taking showers separately, and, you know.
Good that you mentioned that.
Yeah. Just had to be clear. We're friends, but not that close.
Would be a nice ritual. And is every tour day the same, or is every day completely different, and it's always unpredictable what can happen?
There's a lot of the similar things, especially playing like venues like this where you're just kind of in the green room. There's, you know, we walked around, did our exploring, and it's like, all right, we're just in the green room for a while. Some of the bigger venues all start to look the same backstage, or all just one big empty room like this where you're just stuck in. So like that's kind of the same, but especially in Europe or when we're in the States and we're playing like cooler cities, like things to go walk and do and see, there's always something different. Sometimes we'll go find a cool bar. Sometimes they're off day, we'll go find a hockey game or a baseball game to go see. But everything's kind of same but different. Different but same? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there are times where, you know, if we're over here and we can figure out where we're at, we'll go look for card shops and stuff like that. But like, you know, we can't really necessarily read a lot of the road signs, so we kind of have to go off Google Map. And I don't know, I feel like that kind of deters us from going out more in Europe. But yeah, in the States, I feel like as soon as we're done with soundcheck, you and I are like, we're gone. We're always off finding something.
Oh, really?
So, yeah,
because I wanted to know if you get the chance to see in every city where you're playing also the city, because I think this can be like also a little bit how to say it the nice way, but I would find it really annoying to be always in backstage rooms.
Yeah.
Like,
that's kind of how it is.
It's like a nice way to say.
Yesterday's off day. We walked around all.
Yeah, we walked around the off day, but what she's referring to though is just like being in the back room. Is like we joke about it because it's like sometimes we'll be in the green room for like 5 hours together, and then we'll be like, well, do you guys want to go to the catering room and sit there for 3 hours? And it's like we just kind of find ways to talk about whatever to annoy each other just to start a conversation. So
yeah. And how do you keep yourself like energized while touring?
Whiskey.
Red Bull, caffeine.
I loved it. I wanted to ask a question before, like I was thinking about putting the healthy, like how do you get healthy through tour? But I would choose energized, and I think that was the right choice.
Yeah, I would say we get by on hope and sheer will.
Yeah.
Is there sometimes like a down in tour, like where you feel like everybody has a little bit of like low energy level? Is this always like this? Because some bands told me in the middle it's sometimes going down with the energy level and then it's going up again.
Yeah, usually, you know, this kind of touring where we got like 3.5 weeks. Mm-hmm. By the time we get to the last week, the third week, it starts getting like, yeah, you know, I could sleep in my own bed. I would like that. But But for the most part, these short little quick tours, it's just fun the whole time. But when we go to the States, sometimes we'll do 6 weeks, 6.5 weeks. So by week 4, you're like, I'm ready to kill this guy. I want to go home. I'm ready to go see my dogs.
Are you seeing each other when you're at home?
Yeah, we actually used to live together, and now we only live like 2 miles apart. But
Really?
to go back to that question for a second, I feel like
Sorry.
it's changed now for me post-COVID, because now whenever I get into those slumps, I always try to remember, like, okay, you were home for 3 years and you were begging to play a show. So I feel like I don't get the lull as much. I'll get like it's not a lull. It's more of a, I don't want to say disassociative, but it kind of is. It's like, all right, you got to kind of turn off all the emotions and still just try to be the life of the party for everybody there, you know?
Yeah, I think we all got a little bit more thankful after COVID.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And how do you decide on the set list for your shows? Which
We throw a
songs?
dart at a... No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
While drinking whiskey.
I think most of it is like, most of the set's just the big songs that we know everyone's going to love to see, sing along. So like all the top songs on Spotify. Then we start filling in the gaps with like, oh, we haven't played that one in a long time. That'll be fun. Or what if we do a little cover in between this song? Or what if we haven't played that song in a few tours. What if we play that song and it's got a little cool little intro or like, so most of the songs are, now looking back, we've had 3 full-length records, and I feel like the last 2 are the ones that really moved the needle, really did a lot for us. So it's not too hard to pick the 10 songs that we need to play, and then 4 or 5 or 6 other ones that are like, we don't care if you like them. It's really fun for us.
Okay.
Yeah, so most of the time it's just the same ones in just different orders that we know everyone's going to love to sing.
And is it different from audience to audience and city to city, like how they react to the songs? Is it like you could say, okay, in this city, the people love this song more than in the other one?
We've noticed in Europe to the States, there's a couple songs that we know that we'll only really play here in Europe because people sing it louder. And when we go play it in the States, it's...
Is it so different? I never went to a concert in the States, so I cannot say anything about it, but I have the feeling sometimes in Vienna the people are like quite just standing.
The U.S. is so big, so there's some states and some areas that...
So which one you would just suggest for me to go for a concert there?
Anywhere in the Midwest, I'd say.
Everything in the Midwest?
Detroit,
Midwest,
Chicago, East Coast is Boston,
Okay.
not New York. New York can kind of be lame. People are just like, we're
cool.
too cool.
Yeah.
To do there.
But yeah, anywhere in the Midwest or the East Coast, if you have a chance, go.
Okay, and which artist you like to see live?
I have yet to see Metallica, and I've yet to see the Foo Fighters. So those are probably the 2 that I would love to see.
Okay, cool.
I gotta be honest with you, man. I got a list of a couple of people that I want to go see when we got some off time. Harry Styles, Dua Lipa, and Taylor Swift actually are all in my top 3. My wife has seen Taylor Swift.
I love this list.
And has said that it's a show that everybody has to see. So
Remember, we said we had an eclectic taste.
Yeah.
So
I can see that now.
I feel like I've seen a lot of the metal bands that I've wanted to see in my lifetime. Metallica is still one that's on my bucket list, but I really want to see Harry Styles and Dua Lipa.
Dua Lipa was a great show I saw in Vienna, so
Really?
it was really nice to see. I'm not the biggest fan of her, but I really loved the show.
The show's good.
Yeah, I sometimes go to concerts just for the show because I hear from them that this should be a really great show. And I think this was one of them where after that I was a little bit more of a fan, I would say. So can recommend that one.
I've always wanted to go to a show where dancing was like encouraged, and I feel like that's something that we would never have. So
Maybe next tour.
Let's put some disco in the set or something. I don't know, man.
We get kids dancing in our shows. It's just a little more violent, but...
So one question because you're touring without your singer this time. When you don't want to answer it, it's okay. We can cut this away, but how you prefer. So how is it without your singer Brian on tour? Do you probably miss him, but it has to be like the feeling of it.
Yeah, there's a non-personal frustration to like not having one of your brothers out here to do the stuff, but on the other side of the coin, to see how Eric has just kind of taken over the reins as a circus leader for our crazy show. To see him step into more of like a single frontman role has been cool, and this set has felt really rewarding to us, knowing that even though we're a man down, to see all these fans still having a good time and like positive comments is cool.
Yeah, it's difficult. It feels like you're going out there. First couple shows especially kind of felt like we're going out there with our pants down. You know, it's like, all right, let's go out there. Hopefully everyone's like okay with it, and they're not like, what the hell, we're leaving. And so it just put us in a spot that we just had to push an extra 50% energy out. You know, squeeze it out. And so the last, like Dylan was saying, the last few shows feel rewarding in a way, knowing that like, no matter what, as corny as it is, we'll prevail. Like we'll get through. You're out of here. No, but for real, like us as a band over the last 10 years, I'm not going to sit here and be a crybaby about anything, but we've went through a lot. You know, Brian had a vocal surgery back in 2017. We had to do this again. We've had management issues in the past. We've had label issues in the past, and all have been resolved, and I've gotten through it. But we've faced our fair share of challenges, and to know that every year, every time there's something that comes up, we grow and we become stronger through it rather than backing down and hiding in our shell. I'm really proud of that.
What would you suggest young artists, because you're speaking about challenges as a band, what would be your advice to them when they start their band life?
I think the best advice I heard starting off and really solidified by learning it firsthand is that only you are going to know what's best for your art. So if you have a vision and it's a strong vision, run with it. But on the same coin, on the other side, don't be ashamed or don't turn down the opportunity to collaborate with someone, whether it's a producer or another musician, because be a sponge, just learn. But when it comes to like the suits, as I call them, like the label and all the management, they don't have the artistic vision that you do. So stand strong in that, but don't shy away from collaborating with other artists, because you're always going to learn something you didn't know. Whether it's right or wrong, you're going to learn something from it.
Yeah.
To piggyback off that, also, you get one shot for a first impression. So like, you have your vision, you collect whatever you're making in the process, have a plan. A lot of these young artists, myself, before I was in this band, always saying like big things coming soon. It's like letting people know that the hype's there before the hype's actually there. Having all of your ducks in a row and having your vision set and sending it off in the pond is a good way to go.
Okay, we spoken about the challenges. What were the highlights as a band for you?
Definitely getting 2 Grammy noms was something that I didn't expect, but was super elated on. Thank you. And headlining Red Rocks for me, that was a bucket list moment.
Yeah, all of that, and then on top of that, I just say some of the artists and influential people that we've met along the way that said they were fans and made friends and connections through that has been really cool.
And what are your plans and goals as a band in the future and personally?
World domination.
Okay, good one.
No, I think just putting out music that's better than the last thing we did, and then playing shows. We continue to make our shows bigger and bigger. The production, the music, everything just grow. Play places we haven't played yet. There's still so many countries we haven't been to that people ask us to come to, and world domination.
Your personal goal is world domination?
Oh, personal goal. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
I think we have done a great job of already getting to catching up with a lot of people who I am stoked to call peers now, but used to be idols. Personal goal, my wife and I personally don't think we're going to do the kid thing, but I would like to open up a dog rescue.
That's so cute.
Yeah, I am obsessed with dogs, so that's that's what I would like to do on our off time. Maybe abandon you guys at somewhere along the way and just do it full time. I don't know.
So my last question is, do you want to say anything to your friends?
Yeah, for anyone who's listening.
Yeah, until now.
For anyone who's been listening and checks us out and hears this, first of all, thank you for giving us an opportunity for just some dudes that live across the world in some small town to be over here playing in front of thousands of people is just insane. So for every song, every second they've spent listening to us, we'll never be able to pay you back, but hopefully we can come over and play some music and pay you back in that way. But thanks for being a part of this ride.
And keep going, you matter. That's all I want to say. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the interview. I was enjoying it a lot. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.